Many Christians sincerely love God, yet they live their lives entirely exhausted. They pray regularly, but they feel no peace, and they go years without seeing any real fruit in their personal lives. When this happens, the immediate reaction is to diagnose the problem as a lack of faith. We assume that if we were just more committed or more spiritual, the exhaustion would disappear. So we grit our teeth and try a little bit harder to be good. But if you have a lamp that won't turn on, you don't assume the lamp is broken or lacks the will to glow. You check the cord. This specific type of spiritual burnout suggests that while your faith is real, the connection to the source that actually powers that faith is being constantly interrupted. When we treat this disconnection as a failure of willpower, we end up in a draining cycle. We attempt to fix a systemic power failure with more individual effort, only to end up more depleted than when we started. You can see the symptoms of this isolation everywhere. It looks like wearing yourself out trying to manufacture patience in a stressful job, or faking a sense of joy you don't truly feel, only to fall right back into the same habits you swore you were done with. This happens because we've bought into a quiet deception, the idea that the Christian life is something we have to sustain through our own grit. This performance mindset turns faith into a series of benchmarks. It convinces you that there is a specific behavioral standard you must hit before God will accept you, or before His power will actually show up in your life. But relying on your own effort to meet that standard is a mathematical impossibility. When you try to handle the weight of life using only your internal resources, you don't just get tired, you run completely dry. To escape that burnout, you have to realize that your spiritual life relies entirely on your connection to Christ, not on how well you perform for Him. Think about a cell phone with a dead battery. You don't squeeze the device to force more power out of the glass and metal. You simply plug it into a charger. Spiritually, the logic is identical. Most of our anxiety comes from trying to operate as an independent, closed system, attempting to produce energy that we were never meant to generate on our own. This schematic shows an isolated closed-loop battery. Walking purely in your own wisdom, you draw from a finite supply that rapidly drains. Relief only occurs when reattached to an infinite power source. The incoming energy stabilizes the battery immediately, removing reliance on limited capacity. This means that a sudden coldness in your heart, or a lack of hunger for the Word, isn't usually caused by a catastrophic moral failure. It happens because you got distracted, started relying on your own strength, and let the connection drift. Jesus illustrated this same principle using biology. In John 15, He describes the relationship between a vine and its branches. In this framework, a branch has only one job: to stay attached. It is physically impossible for a branch to strain itself into producing a grape. The life-giving sap must come from somewhere else. As the vine passively channels nutrients outward, the branch grows. The fruit is a natural result of the connection. It doesn't require the branch to feel anxious or work harder. The growth is simply what happens when the connection is uninterrupted. We often try to do the opposite. We exhaust ourselves trying to manually manufacture fruit like patience, love, or peace, as if we could force those qualities to grow through sheer effort. But the character of Christ flows through you only when you stop the internal struggle. True peace isn't something you achieve, it's something you receive by depending entirely on the vine. So, how do you practically maintain that connection in a world designed to distract you? First, use the truth to govern your mind. Don't read the Bible just to check a religious box. Use it as a weapon. When thoughts of doubt or anxiety arise, you tear them down by speaking the specific truths God has already established over you. Second, align your actions with His will out of love. When you view obedience as a way to earn heaven, it's a chore. But when you view it as a response to being loved, it becomes the way you stay under His protection. Third, live with a constant awareness of His presence. This doesn't mean being in a church building all day. It means consulting Him while driving, handing Him your burdens at work, depending on Him in real time. These 3 habits move you away from the stress of seeking approval. Instead of waking up every day to earn God's favor, you begin to live from a place of security. replacing the anxiety of striving with the quiet confidence of someone who is never actually alone. The choice is yours today. You can continue fighting these battles on your own, or make the decision to abandon your strength. Pushing yourself harder to be good will only steal the joy and the peace that has already been secured for you. Rest doesn't come when you finally work hard enough to earn it. True rest begins the moment you stop striving and start depending on the only source that never runs dry.